The fire had just fallen from heaven. The people were on their faces, worshiping, weeping with joy, the presence of God blazing over the newly dedicated tabernacle. It was the greatest day in Israel's history. And then, two priests walked forward with censers, and that same fire, the fire that had just brought blessing, killed them instantly. Today, we open Leviticus 10, the story of Nadab and Abihu, two sons of Aaron, two ordained priests, two men who had seen the glory of God on Mount Sinai, and two men who discovered the hard way. Proximity to God's power without reverence and obedience is not a privilege, it is a danger. The tabernacle had just been dedicated. The priests had been consecrated. The fire of God had fallen. The whole camp of Israel was rejoicing. Aaron and his sons stood dressed in glory, 12 precious stones, golden crowns, beautiful priestly robes. They had been invited closer to God than any other men in Israel. They had eaten and drunk in his presence. What a privilege! What an honor! What a responsibility. But in the middle of that celebration, while the joy was still fresh, while the fire of God's blessing was still burning, Nadab and Abihu made a choice. They took their censers, they put fire in them, they put incense on it. Strange fire. Fire that God had not commanded. Fire that God had specifically forbidden. They knew what God required. They had heard the instructions. They had no excuse. But they thought their way was just as good. They heard the "Thus saith the Lord," and they ignored it. And then fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them. Not slowly, not with a warning, not with a second chance. One moment they were alive, the next moment they were dead. The same fire that had fallen from heaven to light the altar in blessing now consumed them in judgment. The same fire. This is the truth most people miss. The closer you are to God's holiness without obedience and reverence, the more dangerous your position becomes. Distance from God is perilous, but proximity to God's power without consecration is fatal. God said,